My name is Mike Hamrick, Director of Athletics here, Marshall University, and I want to thank you so much for being here at this great occasion. As you can see, with the weather outside, we made the decision to move this historic groundbreaking inside this beautiful facility, the Chris Klein Athletic Complex. I can remember about 5 years ago when we dedicated this building, we were right here, just like we were today. And I can remember vividly how happy Chris Klein was when we dedicated this building in his name for the great contributions that he made to get this building done. As many of us know, we lost Chris in July, way too young. Chris and I were classmates, we were friends at Marshall, and we reconnected as friends 10 years ago. So before we start, look around at this beautiful building and what's connected to it and our beautiful soccer facility, and let's just have a moment of silence in memory of Chris Klein, because I know Chris is upstairs watching this and he's smiling that Marshall University is moving forward. So could we please have a moment of silence for Chris Klein? Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. What a historic day for Marshall University. And I've got to tell a quick story before we get started. This is the first time in 10 years that I've worn this green jacket. And the reason why was, for the last 100 years, when a Marshall University athletic director or a football or basketball coach or any kind of coach got hired, at their press conference, they were given a green coat. I was the first that was not given a green coat. And I never understood why. Well, about 4 or 5 weeks after I was on the job, my good friend Steve Williams came by, and we were classmates, and we were teammates back in the late 70s playing football here, trying to build this football program back up after what happened in 1970. And he knocked on my door in my office and walked in, and he gave me this green coat. And I was so disappointed that I didn't get one at the press conference when I got hired. I thought maybe that was a signal that I wasn't going to last very long at Marshall University. I said, Steve, I will not wear this coat until something happens to our university and our athletic department that I think will never happen. And Steve, never is a long time. Well, guess what? I've got this green jacket on, and to prove that this is a true story,
Still got the tag on it.
I've still got the tag on it. In all honesty, 10 years ago, I really wasn't sure that what's about to happen today was going to happen. But I knew with the right people and the right support and at the right time, we could be here this morning getting ready to do what we're going to do. 17 short months from now, people, we will be playing baseball in Huntington, West Virginia. Instead of Charleston, instead of Beckley, instead of Chillicothe, instead of wherever, we will have a baseball stadium that we can call our own 17 months from now. And there's so many people that have helped make this happen. I'd like to thank the Huntington Municipal Development Authority. We have many members of their board here today, and Kathy Burns for their great support and their great help for making this happen. I would like to thank our Board of Governors at Marshall University, and you will get an opportunity to hear from our chair, Jim Bells. We have a great governing board that believed in this project from day one and was behind us wanting to make this happen. I'd like to sincerely thank them. I'd like to thank our university attorney, and I didn't see him here, is Leighton Cottrell. Leighton wasn't here. Leighton Cottrell has worked behind the scenes for 30 or 40 years trying to make this happen. And obviously he's an attorney and he gets paid by the hour, so he took his time with it. But I love Leighton, and he's so instrumental in that. I would also like to thank our architectural firm, AECOM, and we have our main architect here who built this building, who built the soccer complex, our Sports Medicine Institute, our Hall of Fame, our state-of-the-art academic center, and I'd like to recognize him, have him stand up. Give him a warm herd welcome. Brian Pounds from Richmond, Virginia's here with us. Getting into our program, the first person that I'd like to introduce, first of all, is a dear friend. He's a classmate. He was a teammate. He's moved mountains to work with us to make this happen. We would not be here, people, without the support and the help of this gentleman. This guy went across the country and sold this community and won America's Best Community for Huntington, West Virginia. Him and his team, and with that came $3 million. And part of that money's here today to help us get this project going. He's had a dream of this. When I first came back 10 years ago, actually when Steve brought me this coat, we talked about a baseball stadium. We were hoping it would happen a little bit sooner, but hey, it's happening now, and without him and his driving force and what he does for this city and what he has done for Marshall University, we would not be here. Please give a warm welcome for our mayor, my friend, my former teammate, Mayor Steve Williams.
I just told Mike, we called him Burley when we were playing ball together, and I said, "Love you, Burley," and he said, "Don't screw it up." This is a wonderful day to be here. We have members of our city council here present. They're my board of directors, and because of what they support, we're able to do. And he mentioned that the Municipal Development Authority bought the land because of what they were able to do at Kinetic Park, and certainly with the $500,000 from the $3 million prize that we had in the America's Best Communities competition. The Foundation for the Tri-State Community is managing that money for us, and because of that, we're able to participate in these. We have a couple of county commissioners here. Commissioner Jim Morgan is here, Commissioner Nancy Cartmill, and I didn't see Commissioner Sabonia, but we're pleased to have them with us as well. Look at this, Rick, look at this crowd. Rainy outside, and Rick and I were talking about this. Imagine what it's going to be like on opening day in 17 months. Now, Rick said, if it's not full, if the stadium's not full, we're going to put mannequins with hats on them in the stands and make blessed sure that it's full. 7 years ago, we started talking. Really, we were talking about it before, but very actively talking about getting a stadium, baseball stadium built in Huntington, and there were individuals that were saying, we'll believe it when we see it. Now, those of you who played sports, coaches, there's a point in a game, in a competition, where you start to see an opportunity, you start to see a seam. That seam might not be visible to others, but it's an opening that you have to take it and take it right then. When the game slows down for you, it seems like it's wide enough to be able to drive a Mack truck through, but then when you go back and review the opportunities, you see it was just something that was happening in a millisecond. Fortunately, we have a strong partnership and strong community here with Dr. Jerry Gilbert, the president, with Mike Hamrick as the athletic director, with the city, with HMDA, with everybody. Let's understand one thing. The reason this is happening is because of the connection between the city and the university What we have is something special that doesn't happen around the nation. When I travel around the country and I talk about what we have here, when we were making the presentation on the America's Best Communities competition, we touted what we had here at Marshall.
We got an athletic director here, Mike Hamrick, who said he was going to have it done, get it done, and he's doing just that. And he is one of the finest athletic directors I've ever been under, and I've been under quite a few of them. You know, when you get 93, things don't come to your head like you used to. And I got some names written down here who, and certainly not, it doesn't include anyone. I'm not trying to admit anybody, but I have a few names here that I know are responsible for having this field come to fruition. Of course, Mike is the driving force behind all of it. And we certainly thank President Gilbert for all his support through all this. And it takes a president's support to get some things done, and he has done just that. And of course, Steve Williams. Steve, I've known Steve a long time, and he is doing everything possible to try to get things going here. And we really appreciate that. Now, I'm sure someone who's going to really benefit from this is Jeff Wagner, the current baseball coach. Now, Coach is a good baseball coach, but you know, when you try to go to Charleston or Beckley to play a home game, that's a big disadvantage for you. I mean, you have none of the advantage of having a home field, but hopefully this is going to take care of that. We have some people here on stage, Jeff Montgomery and Rick Reed, and guys, Joe Goddard, I think, is probably in there someplace, who caught for the San Diego Padres, and they are certainly, and I really want to thank all the players who have played for me and gone through all these things and still have really shown a lot of desire to make this a really great baseball program. I just hope that this is probably one of the happiest days of my life, really. And like I say, I'm 93, and I've had a lot of days, but not too many of them has been like this. But I don't know any much else to say because, like I say, I don't remember a lot of things that used to happen way back there. And but I do appreciate everything. I appreciate all you people that's come out here today to dedicate this field. It's really going to be something that Coach Widener can take and move forward on, and I know he's going to do that. Thank you.
It's great to be back in Huntington, and I wish I could be back more often and enjoy the company and all the former teammates and seeing this event really kind of come to fruition and what we're doing today. I really can't think of anything I would rather do than break ground on a new baseball facility here at Marshall. I mean, if you're going to break ground, this is the place to do it. So many people are responsible, and they've all been recognized and thanks, but I just want to thank the Marshall community for being behind this, the city of Huntington, everyone who's made this really come to the point that we are today. And I was talking with a few folks in the audience earlier today, and it kind of reminds me a little bit. They were saying when teams would come to Huntington to play against Marshall, and they may be playing out on Route 2 or be playing maybe even in Charleston, people would say, well, where's your field? And they said, well, actually, we're an online institution. We don't even have a campus. So now we're going to be a real baseball facility on a real campus. And I can't tell you how happy it's going to make everyone who's had the proud opportunity to wear a Herd uniform. That said, I'll close and thank you for being here, and let's do it right. Thank you.
It's a thrill to be here and to be involved in this. It's you know, a lot of you former players. It's been a long time coming, long time. You know, I got up this morning and you know, sitting there having my coffee because I don't know if a lot of you were there last night. My wife took a trip to Florida, so I'm there by myself and just staring out into space. And for whatever reason, I decided to get on what I call the interweb. And well, she wasn't here to help me get on the interweb, but I think I got on it. I looked up Marshall's all-time record, you know, wins, losses. You know, we're close to, I think I could only get to 2016. If she was here, I'd have got probably all of it. But I'm saying around 3,000 total games have been played here at Marshall University. Well, not here at Marshall University. But, you know, I looked that up and I thought, boy, that's been one hell of a road trip. One hell of a road trip. So I'm really really thrilled that you know, I was able to contribute to this, and I'm really happy to see everyone out here, and also at the new stadium in 17 months, right? 17 months, where we can officially say Marshall baseball is playing their first home game. So everybody, please be there. Thank you very much.
My first interview when I took the job here was with Jack Cook, and I'll never forget it because I'm coming in to meet a legendary coach, and I'm thinking he's going to ask me all these questions, and the first thing out of his mouth was, "Coach, if a big school comes in, would you leave here and take the job?" And I didn't lie. I said, "Yeah, Coach, I would." He'll never forget that. He always reminds me of that. There's so many people to thank, you know, but I'm going to start with Mayor Williams for getting and purchasing the land. And what a beautiful location. It's an awesome location because it makes a small village for all of our teams and everybody in that area. And it's going to be great for our fans. You know, and Mayor, we finally got a team to support, and it's going to be a lot of fun in the Springs. Mike Hamrick, I mean, the relentless pursuit to get this done, and not only with the baseball program, but all of our sports. President Gilbert, the ongoing growth and success we've had at Marshall since he's been here, thank you so much for your support. And a personal thanks to Jeff O'Malley. Jeff has been with me the whole time, and you know, he's not just only with the baseball team, but his passion for all of our student athletes. Jeff's over here. If we could give him a round of applause for Jeff O'Malley. A special thanks to the donors, the guys sitting up here that really stepped up, and everybody that's involved. We couldn't get to this point without you guys. So please, one more round of applause for our donors, and we're going to continue to go after this and raise the money. The only thing I ask is that I have Mr. Hamrick and President Gilbert and Mayor Williams to throw out the first pitch. I think that'd be great. The only problem is I'm going to have to move the catchers way up. And they're not allowed to throw underhand. So, very fortunate to have been here in the past, and I'm so excited for the future of Marshall baseball. Can't wait. We had an alumni golf outing yesterday, and my message to the alumni was, even though you didn't get the opportunity to play in a brand new stadium, now you have a place to call home. And when you come back to watch us play, you're going to have a lot of pride. So my hat's off to you guys, my players that I've coached. I really appreciate the hard work that you guys put in, not only on the field but off the field, in order to try to change the culture of this program. And for the future, I'm just extremely excited to see how this is going to change the effects of recruiting and obviously competition in our wins and losses. When we met with the architect, he asked me, what was my biggest statement with the field, and I said, really, it's development. I want everything to be around development. That's what we sold in the past. When we were taking over this program, there wasn't a kid drafted in, I don't know, a decade. And we have to develop our players. And we're going to continue to do that. And if we get the right kids in, the right families, and we develop them, it's going to be a lot of fun here in the Springs. And I think we've reached all those goals. I mean, when you look at the stadium, and we went over it last night on, cages inside, underneath. The opportunity to work with guys in cages and bullpens and our locker room, to the lounges that the kids can hang out, the video room, and nutrition bar area. I mean, all those things are going to help us develop our guys, and this is what it's about. It's more than just wins and losses. It's about developing these guys into men and becoming great student athletes here. We've got a great academic area that we're going to put inside there. I'll do everything I can to make this city proud. I'm excited for the city of Huntington. This is an awesome time. This is one of the best times at Marshall University. Go Herd.
It's kind of tough to follow an all-star group of speakers like we have on the stage today, but I'll try. For those of us who've been around a while, and as Mike mentioned, I certainly have, we remember well when Marshall played basketball at a rented and shared facility, Memorial Fieldhouse, football on a borrowed high school field, Fairfield Stadium, and baseball on most any flat or semi-flat piece of ground the program could find. A lot has changed over the years. Marshall has its own basketball facility. And thanks in large measure to the generosity of folks like Joan Edwards, Chris Klein, the Shueys, our own Dot Hicks and Jeff Hoops, we have an outstanding football stadium and facilities building. This wonderful state-of-the-art indoor athletic complex, a beautiful soccer stadium, and an excellent on-campus softball field. On behalf of the Marshall University Board of Governors, I would like to express our appreciation to Athletic Director Mike Hamrick for his commitment, dedication, and dogged support of a first-class baseball stadium. President Gilbert for his vision and wholehearted support. Mayor Steve Williams and the Huntington Municipal Development Authority for their assistance in making the site available for this much needed and long overdue baseball stadium. And the many fans and former athletes who have and will contribute to the completion of this project. When this project is completed, the last major piece of the Marshall athletic puzzle would be in place. I want to thank especially Jeff Montgomery and Rick Reed for their presence and for their support. And of course, I want to thank the best catcher in baseball all time, Johnny Bench, for his support. But finally, I want to recognize, and the board wants to extend its special appreciation and gratitude to our legendary coach, Jack Cook. In the years when he was a coach and the many years that had followed, Jack Cook has been an inspiration for this day. Thank you, Coach Cook.
Wow, what a crowd. I had no idea this many people would come out on a rainy morning, so I want to thank all of you for being here today. This week I was listening to a famous blues song, and I got this warm feeling about Marshall baseball. When Etta James sang "At Last," I thought, at last, we've got a baseball stadium. At last. Finally. I want to thank the mayor, the city commission, the council, city council, everyone in Huntington for their support. Also the donors for coming forward and supporting this effort. Mike was saying when I first got here, one of the first things he said to me was, you know, we need to build a baseball stadium. And I've been here about 4 years, and I came ahead of my wife, and I called my wife and said, you know, I was talking to our athletic director, and Marshall doesn't have a baseball stadium. And I told him I was going to get behind this strongly and support this baseball stadium. And she goes, damn right. You said, you don't have a major university without a baseball stadium. Which it's like a no-brainer that Marshall needed a baseball stadium. And we are so excited that we finally, at last, have what everyone who's played hard for Marshall baseball deserves. A home that they can come home to, and a place where Jack Cook can be proud to say his players can come back to and call home. So I'm proud for our current coach, all of our players who have gone on and done great things without a baseball stadium. Just think of what our future players are going to do, Coach. It's going to be a great day for Marshall. So thank you all for your support. We're excited that Marshall finally is going to have that baseball stadium that we've been promised for such a long time. Thank you.